Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Hope you guys have had a good start to y'all's weekend. I am grateful and blessed to be surrounded by people who are hungry to grow. You know what I'm saying? Not many people on a Saturday morning, especially on a holiday weekend, are as committed or disciplined to pour into their mindsets, to pour into their personal development and to grow. If you're tuning in live or on the recording, you know the vibe. We do our book club every Saturday morning. We've been doing this now for going on 2 years. Crazy, if you really think about it. And honestly, it's been one of the most pivotal parts about what we do because at the end of the day, we really do understand, not just for myself, but from people who have won at high levels of influence and impact that your level of success is dependent upon your level of personal development. And even if your level of success surpasses your personal development, it will meet you where you're at unless you meet it where it's at. So what's really dope about what we do here is at the end of the day, the goal is always to have the wealth, the abundance, but it's not just to get it, it's to keep it long term, and having the right mindset makes the ultimate difference. So as you guys know, we've been reading The Power of Awareness by Mr. Neville. He's been killing the game with this book, I'm not gonna lie. And this week we are covering chapters 21, 22, and 23. And then the following week we'll be finishing up the book. I'll make sure that the new book promo hops up in the book club chat. Amber, if you need me to send that to you too, so you can send it over to your peeps and powerful creator, let me know. But I'm excited, y'all. I'm extremely grateful and ready to hear everyone's take on these three chapters. The only reason why that we split them up this week like we did is essentially because one, there's an odd number of chapters left, but two, chapter 23 is pretty thick, multiple C's. So there's a lot of stuff to dive into, a lot of things that you can touch on. So does anybody want to kick us off to put in their insight from the reading?
Yes, let
Yeah,
me go. Let
I'll
me go
pick.
because I'm about to be at an appointment.
Go ahead, go ahead.
What's up, y'all? Happy freaking Saturday. I'm driving, so bear with me. Okay, so these chapters were pretty dope and a lot eye-opening too. More so like soul opening, when you have all these like I think it was chapter 21 that was talking about free will and how it's like you have free will, but you kind of don't have free will in a way.
Yes, bro.
So it's like you're already everything's created, and your assumption of you having the wish fulfilled is you living in it. But then like you kind of don't make the decisions to get there, you just get there. And that blew me for everything because going into chapter 22 about I think it was our 23 about case studies. And I don't know for everybody else, I'm sure we've all had these instances where we've put ourselves like had a goal in mind, knowing something that we are going to get done. There's no other answer, but yes, this is mine. I have it. I've done that countless times, and I didn't even realize how much power that really was. Like, okay, just a quick story. I was looking for a fanny pack. Okay, something very cute, very stylish. They were all the rage. I still wear them, whatever. And I went multiple times to multiple different stores to get this because it was gonna match with my outfit perfectly. I was going to like a festival and I wanted to look great. So I went all these stores. I even had one of my friends come with me, and everybody kept telling me, no, you're not going to find what you're looking for. That doesn't exist. And I'm like, it has to exist because I know it's mine. That's what's going to finish this outfit. And I swear to you, it was like we just took a break and I was like, let's get some lunch. And while the food was getting cooked, I'm like, I'm gonna walk down this alley. That's when I was living in LA. Ooh, LA gang. gang. Anyways, I was walking down the like alley in downtown LA. I found the fanny pack. It was right there because I knew that I was going to have this fanny pack, bro. I was dead serious and I got it. And I still have it to this day. And it's like those little stories is like having that assumption, like, no, for real, this is done. This is mine. It's really powerful. And like, I wouldn't be in Austin if it wasn't for that. I wouldn't be in the position that I am if it wasn't for this assumption. So it's like we do it very subconsciously without even realizing. So imagine the power of putting your soul to it, your mind to it, your heart, everything into it, and you getting it. It's like there is no debate. This is real. It's the power of assumption. I am. So that was crazy. And some of the other things that they touched on also was, I think it was like external versus internal. So I know a lot of people, and I think it's, you know, it's basic human nature to seek out community and want to be involved in something bigger than us. But like the external version of all the things that we want compares nothing to the internal version. So you can go to church all you want, and we all know people like this who go to church and they're just like, no, this is the end all be all. But it's like, no, what about your relationship with God? What about your relationship with yourself? That inner is so powerful when we actually like want it and know what we want. So that's my take. Have a happy Saturday, y'all.
I just put it on replay.
My bad. Did I miss her calling somebody?
What's it called? What's a review, Mr.?
Because Imani was going in. I ain't gonna lie.
What happened, y'all? What
Yeah,
happened?
there she is.
I don't know who wants to go. Did y'all hear that? I don't know what's going on right now.
No, I just heard you
Mama,
going in and then you went quiet.
what, for real?
Yeah.
Okay, where did I last stop? Where was the last thing you heard?
Well, I think everyone heard everything, maybe except for Marcus. I heard you.
Okay.
Girl, why you calling about that this boy?
Well, because I just feel like she said like, all right, cool, bye.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't
Cool.
hear that part.
Yeah, I didn't hear
Well,
that part either.
okay. I don't know what happened, but
You were
yeah,
going
I'm
in
gonna call.
though, girlfriend. You were going in.
I felt very passionate about this one, like this batch of chapters. But Mama Mary, I'm gonna call on you, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Sounds good. Good morning, everybody. Amani, I love your perspective on these chapters. I'm going to be very transparent with you guys. I literally felt like I could not grasp the way it was because I read it and then I listen to it. So I follow that way, but like it was really hurting my head trying to understand what it was saying. But um on chapter 21 for free will, it's exactly what Imani had explained how, we definitely have a free will, but in all honesty, it's like we don't, you know what I mean? I did write down the very last thing that he said in the chapter was that you have infinite free will in choosing your assumption, but no power to determine conditions and events. You can create nothing, but your assumption determines what portion creation you will experience. Now, assumption to me growing up was a pretty bad word. My mom used to tell me, don't ever assume because you're going to make an ass out of you and me. You know what I mean? Just like in a negative or in something bad, that would happen if we would assume. And reading this as an adult, it's like totally opposite, like totally opposite. What you assume for what you want as a goal, or what you assume for what you want as, just anything. You can make that happen. And it's so weird to me because the assumption and the persistence going into chapter 22, like people used to annoy me with the persistency that they had. Like, look, I'm not even going to lie, Marcus, I love your dad, but God damn, your dad is so persistent. And he would annoy me because of how persistent he was. Same thing, we've got our share of persistent people in our family. Marcus is one of them. Marissa is another. Like them two, they will not quit. You know what I mean? They're going to get what they want, and they're going to keep doing it and keep, persistence with it. And unlike myself, Anna, well, Zach's pretty persistent too, but it's just crazy how, there's a house divided in that persistency. And I used to be annoyed by that. But it says in the Bible, be persistent. You've got to be persistent. They shared several stories about persistency in the scriptures. They tell you that you must be persistent in rising to, which is assuming the consciousness of your wish already being fulfilled. And that right there stuck out to me super, like a sore thumb, because something that annoyed me so much is something that I really need to be. I really need to learn how to be. And I'm still learning, there's a good persistence and there's a bad persistence, but me as an adult now, I am barely learning all of these things. So when I say to you, young ladies and gentlemen, that you guys amaze me because you are so ahead of the game. Like it's beautiful to witness, just everything on how you present yourselves and what y'all guys believe in. It's beautiful. So on to chapter 23, the stories, and it just goes into like really wanting something that you really want, and just thinking about it morning, noon, and night. And that's not something that I do. Something that I do need to learn how to do on an everyday basis, just like I learned how to invite God in my everyday life. I don't understand how I used to do this on my own, or how I used to think I would do this on my own. It's amazing. These stories are amazing. We just got to continue with our imagination. We got to continue with our goals, with our persistencies. And yeah, this book is fire. I love it. So whoever wants to go next. Or Amber, since we're going with the girls, you want to go ahead and take control?
Hey guys, what is the dealio? I don't have much to say today because I wasn't able to finish my chapters this week, but I'd love to hear what y'all have to say. Even more, I don't want to sit here and just like make up stuff. So I am going to call on the Dawn.
Yo, I can't go right now. Austin, you wanna go?
Oh yeah, I'll go quick. Going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. So yeah, I don't have my book is in the bag. I really want to grab it. But chapter 21 was free will, Uh, honestly, I don't know, it kind of opened my eyes to like exactly what free will is, because like obviously we all know that um like God gave it to us so that we could, you know, essentially choose our lives. But I did not think of it to the extent that it kind of broke it down to where like, yeah, everything is already like created for us, um and it is already in the world. We just have the ability to choose what assumptions that we live out and what ideas that we pick to pursue. So it's, I don't know, it was really wild to me because like we this book has really opened my eyes to the fact that like we are creative beings, but we like everything has already been created essentially. We just are able to bring it to fruition through like our actions and our assumptions about our own lives. So it's really, I don't know, it's been really cool reading the book, and just really becoming aware uh, of really how our lives are put together and the abilities that we do have just by simply assuming the lives that we want and then continually pursuing that, not only like in our actions but especially like in our mind, like continually thinking about and visualizing exactly what it is that we want, which kind of leads into chapter 22, um, about persistence, because I struggle with this too, like in my own life, about like staying in that state of like assumption as far as like the life that I want to create for myself, and that I want to live, because like I find myself sometimes getting distracted by obviously outside, not necessarily noise, but just outside factors, as far as like I'm a little ADHD or whatever you want to call it. So I get a shiny object syndrome sometimes, you know. I squirrel a little bit, but no, like just it's, and like book club and like our community has really helped me to, what are we doing here, fellas? Community has really helped me to become more intentional about what I think about and like who I surround myself with. And like, I don't know, like my thought patterns have changed, because like I used to like get consumed by the outside, like distractions and stuff like that. I would let myself go down that rabbit hole, so to speak. But now just being able to know what I know and being able to discern what really serves me and what doesn't, has helped me to be more intentional and focused on exactly the life that I want. And especially like over these last, I would say these last like 6 months have really put in perspective for me about like how bad I really want the life that I'm saying that I want and like desiring, you know. So I've really been more intentional with my thoughts and about like how persistent I am at like the habits that I need to develop and like the thought patterns that I need to develop, which is like cool that we just like, before I even read this, I was like thinking about it and reflecting on it. Or before I even read this chapter, um, like how like I used to, even just last year, I would say I want something, or like say that, you know, this is the life I want, and then like think about it for like a couple days consistently, and then like it would kind of fade a little bit, and then I would come back to it like the next week, and then it would fade a little bit. But really, the key that I've gathered from this chapter is like really being intentional about consistently every day, like thinking about, okay, this is the life that I want, and visualizing it. Because like in chapter 23, when he was telling some of the stories about people he's either worked with or heard stories from, about like how they literally like the one that really stood out to me, just because I have like family members who are in the military and things like that, was how the guy like applied for an honorable discharge but got denied like the same day, but he didn't let that like stop him or deter him from assuming that it was already done. And he just really like took the time every day to visualize himself at home in his apartment and like feeling exactly what it feels like to like see the things he was seeing outside, inside his apartment, how his bed felt like, and really just going there. And that's something that I have been working on implementing more, is like really like going there in my mind, because I've never had the attention span to actually like sit there and and just like really visualize things like that. But as I've gotten more patient and like I said, more intentional, it's helped me to actually like get it. Just keep this is kind of what keeps me excited about like the future. Essentially, this is like one of the factors that really helps me to stay focused on like, okay, I said that I wanted this, and this is the type of life I want. Well, if you can't go there in your mind and like actually like feel it without seeing it or without it being real, like it's not going to want to attract to you, essentially. So I don't know. This book is definitely something different, and I am going to like reread the whole thing, because like obviously, as you guys can see, it's very quick and goes like really fast. So like it's not a hard read, but it's very powerful. So I'm not sure Donnie can go yet, or Kels or anybody wants to go. I see Mikhail's over there getting it. Johnny boy.
The Don Perignon, featuring the Stash.
He said featuring the Stash. Oh man.
Um,
We can't hear you, bro. I think it might be the AirPod.
yo. All right, look. What's popping? What's popping? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Um, yo, Miss Liddy, feeling great, feeling blessed. I been getting back into motion. And can't hop off. I've been getting into motion and just really like applying the of the book. So just a kind of little backstory. Just being the one in my family to like really open the light, shine a light on like perspective and consciousness and the principles within this book in current situations and whatnot, and just really like referencing back to like operating in what is, what was, and what's to come, and really just like believing that it's already done and you're already that person, So in what's it called? In chapter boop, 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 in chapter 21, free will, um, something that stood out to me is where he was talking about how God refers to himself as I am rather than I will be. And just looking back and what I've done and what I'm continuing to work on is like with saying I am and continuing to operate in that consciousness that I am already that person um, at that desired state because I will be, as he says, is a confession that I am not. And it says, until you realize you are the Father, there's only one I am, and your infinite self is that I am. Your will is always I will be. In the law of assumption, consciousness of being is the Father's will. If you had a different concept of yourself, everything would be different. You are what you are, so everything is as it is. And the events which you observe are determined by the concepts you have of yourself. And if you change the concept of yourself, the events of you in time are altered. And so, in that, just like going back to the backstory and like just changing the perspective and the mindset of like, yeah, um, it is what it is, and just continuing to grow and change that perspective. And then in boop and persistence, what it is that we pray for, um, of the desired things, you know, just operating in that and as if it's already ours and continuing to move in that aspect. So for me, like is something that I was talking with Austin yesterday and just like how I work I work 6 to 6 overnight and I don't really do too much besides like monitor machines and keep them running. So most of the night I'm walking back and forth, talking to myself, and as I'm doing so lately, it's just been like talking about the plans and like ex- talking about the game plan and the execution of that game plan on what's to come by the end of the year, and um, just put myself in that and like just feeling it, seeing it, and believing in it. Um, like how am I feeling? How am I living? Um, so as I continue to um, make myself aware of those things, it's just like allows me to operate more freely um, with joy um, rather than looking at current situations and circumstances and like where it is that I'm at, and just like continuing to move forward with like the certainty and the faith in the unseen, and then didn't really get to chapter 23 to finish it. Boop, boop, boop. There's something I'd seen. Let's see, hold on. Excuse me. I can't find it. I can't find it.
What are you
But
looking for?
there's something that I've seen towards the end of chapter 23.
Okay.
Mm,
We'll start explaining it. I will see if I can find it for you.
mm, it was the man and his wife. How they went without a decision on part of the owners. They continue to imagine as they fell asleep. Each night they were actually asleep, sleeping in the penthouse. And one day, to their complete surprise, one of the employees in the apartment building in which they lived in told them that the penthouse there was vacant. Um, and so just like constantly being persistent in what it is that they wanted, and seeing themselves in that. And eventually the opportunity came to fruition of them being able to actually have that door open for them. So just really like seeing as though in life, as Amani had said, um, there's always going to be obstacles and stuff, and it's just continuing to be persistent in those things, and um, eventually those doors will open, and we will have those opportunities to step into. Um, but uh, with that though, just as I've been getting back in tune, just seeing like how much more um opportunities arise when you're operating in that flow state, and um continue and being persistent. Like yesterday, I met this dude who is a rapper out here in Odessa, and just got to chopping it up with him. And looking back at the conversation, I was really just having a general conversation, and literally got to know like a brief summary of his life and like where he's from, where he's moved to, where he's lived, how he grew up, why he does music, what influenced him to do music, and his rapper name, things like that, and then his goals and dreams to come in as as an artist, and then like different ways he's looking at getting there, and um, just started chopping up with him and letting him know like our what we got going on, and showed him, the tours and the different events with the artists that we've done, and then he kind of started asking more and like got to talking about investing and trading and stuff, and it's something that he been interested in and trying to get into and figure out. And so he asked me for my contact information so we can get connected. Um, and so after that conversation, I looked back and I was like, bro, when I'm like in mode, in tune, and operating in that space, like I'm flowing. I'm not like, I wasn't trying too hard. I look back at the conversation, I was like, bro, I'm actually cold. I just applied the things that we read, and help each other learn and grow upon. And rather than looking back at when I'm in those times that I'm not in tune and in mode and flow, like those conversations like are not as smooth, and I find myself like trying too much, trying hard, and like thinking so much about how I'm directing the conversation rather than just having the conversation. Um, so, yeah, but it's letting. Got back in the gym yesterday. We in mode, but let's get it, y'all. And go ahead and go with Kelsey.
I don't think you saw her message at the beginning, but she might be unavailable.
And then go ahead.
Hey, man, what's poppin'? The fruit, the few, the proud. What's poppin', y'all? Happy Saturday. Honestly, everyone, these chapters are really small, like y'all are talking about. But high key, if I'm gonna be very transparent with y'all, these chapters at the very beginning, like, frustrated the crap out of me. Because I feel like I've been doing the things, and it helped me check my perspective, is what I'm saying. It allowed me to like make sure that I stay persistent in the attainment of my wish fulfilled through utilizing the law of assumption more effectively than I have been. Because a lot of the first things that I've done within like this season of my career, the past 3 years, started with like being awoken to the truth and then automatically applying the things that he talks about in every one of these chapters prior to free will. And as I have been developed in character in a lot of different ways that I did not expect, I saw how God has been like reminding me, like son, check yourself because you frustrated, but you're not doing it the right way, even though you're doing it. So, these definitely humbled me, is my point. Because some of the stuff that was written, like I know that I know because I've applied. So when I look at my current situation, I was giving myself some grace, but understanding like, okay, well, what do I need to do differently? Because obviously what I'm currently experiencing, what I'm currently going through is a product of my mindset and the things that have been put into motion from the things that I've assumed, whether it be at the very beginning of this part of my journey, the past 2-3 years, or whether it was a year and a half into this part of my journey, 2 years into this journey, like what changed and how do I find my like baseline back home? And this is some of the biggest stuff that I took away from me. For one, shout out Don. I literally 100%, bro, felt like that part was the other equivalent, like bigger point of chapter 21 for me, where he was saying that God doesn't say I will be, he's a God of I am. Because you saying I will be is a confession that you are not. And it's not until um you recognize that it's really just becoming before you do and get, that makes the ultimate difference. So I starred a little bit up at the top of that page where it said, beyond that, free will ends and everything happens in harmony with the concept of assumed. And I was like, whoa. I used to assume, thinking that the assumption was possible because of my free will. Like I can become anything I want. I'm free to do so. But I had talked about it on the value session this week as well. Like the dichotomy between free will and sacrifice is crazy. Like in order to be free, you have to sacrifice. You're not free. In terms of like if I want to get closer with God, I can't just do everything I want to do under the sun. I'm not God. I have to like obey and be obedient within the things that he has told me to do. Like he literally brought somebody here to explain exactly what to do, and I have to do those things. Otherwise, I'm operating out of my own free will and not his will. And that's how I was able to like really understand that maybe my sacrifice was being made under my free will instead of my assumption. And I was like, whoa, that changes the game a lot because I understand the power of your words and you are what you are. So everything is as it is. Like my guy wrote in this chapter. I feel like I almost highlighted the whole chapters, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was a lot of things, but what I wrote out for chapter 21 was that because you cannot create nothing, your assumption determines what portion of creation you will experience. So assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And the biggest part that no one touched on, and I'm glad no one did because I wanted to touch on it, is that there is no better time to start than now. There is no better time. So like bro, isn't that crazy? Go ahead, bro. Hold on real quick.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I literally, because I highlighted in my book and I just posted it to my story. That exact part right there.
Yeah,
There's
bro.
no better time to
There
start
is
than right
no
now.
better time to start than now. The present moment is always the most opportune in which to eliminate all unlovely assumptions and to concentrate only on the good. And it just reminded me of like scripture, not by power, not by might. Like it has to literally be that wish fulfilled of the assumption. So that one gave me some reassurance. And although I was frustrated, I was reminded like it is what it is. Start now again, assuming your life fulfilled, even if you've missed the ball for a little bit of time and it's gotten you where you're at. So that was like a cool little epiphany for me. And then in terms of persistence, as my mom said, I'm a very persistent person. And he had wrote on this part, he said, let me find it real quick. So check it. He said this part of, okay, he referenced Luke, right? Where we all hear about ask and it'll be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open. I was like, okay, I understand that part, Lord. What else are you trying to show me in this process? And he further on, a couple of pages later, he talks about persistence in maintaining the consciousness of the desire already being fulfilled results in its fulfillment. You must persist in that state. Only persistency in the assumption of the wish fulfilled can cause those subtle changes in your mind, which result in the desired change in your life, because your thoughts create your actions. Because of what you feel, you move on what you feel, and then your actions create your habits. So what he concluded on was that a lack of persistence in your assumption of your life already being as you want it to be is the part that keeps you from being there. Your assumption to be effective cannot be single isolated act. It must be a maintained attitude. And that's what I was able to understand. Like the persistent is not just the act of you continuously doing the things that lead to the things. It's the attitude behind why you're doing it, the intention beneath the obvious. So like it's apparent that you've got to invite, right, to go and build a business and we're marketing, but like why are you inviting? And how are you inviting? Are you inviting out of desperation or inspiration? Are you inviting because you're already a chairman? Or are you inviting because you need to go and hit that goal for your own sake? And there's a lot of differences in what it is you attract in that, like the people that come around you, and the things that occur. I seriously don't know where it went. Uh, he talked about essentially, hold on. Okay, I highlight this, and this is from Free Will again, but it ties into what I'm talking about. Deny the evidence of the senses and assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And that brings me into chapter 23, right? So he said, deny the evidence of your senses. And y'all remember Crazy Faith when he talks about like the facts that you see will erode the faith that you need. And here's how I was able to make the difference of assumption in my mind, because I related heavy to my mom. Like, I feel as though there's two different types of assumptions. One is the one that Miguel was talking about in the Four Agreements. Like, it's not good to assume other people or what it is that they have against you or thinking about you. But in terms of the law of assumption, you have to assume an absolute faith. So the way that I understand it is that operating that assumption is the ability of faith. The woman that was able to be healed just by touching Jesus's robe believed that all she needed to do was touch Jesus's robe. And because he looked back and told her, it is your faith that has healed you. It's the faith of you believing and obtaining something despite your current circumstances that allows you to assume that what you believe can be true. And I was like, whoa, because in the second story where he talked about this guy who went off to college at a 20-year-old, had to come back home to help his father with the business, and had a dream of actually buying a building that was the most prominent and largest and well-known in the entire city. And this almost made me emotional because I'm like, yo, I'm gonna figure this out, because regardless of what happens, all I must do is operate in absolute faith of the state I wish fulfilled and persist at it as much as I possibly can. So I'm just gonna reread this chapter because Amber, I know you didn't read it, but this just gives some context. So this guy, as my mom was talking about, we just got to maintain in our imagination, right? Everybody in this story imagined themselves being there. So he had been imagining walking past this building, his family's name being on the big board and them running a big successful business. They literally had just sold out their business and started out from scratch. And this is what the author recited from their story. On the actual day of the sale, where the house or where the building went up to sale, to their complete surprise, a man, almost a total stranger, came into the shop and offered to buy the property for them. Mind you, they had no money to go and do it. Their business was running, but they had not a certain amount of or even a percentage of what it is that they needed to go and actually purchase it. And everyone else in the city, all the other wealthy, successful people, wanted to have the building. So they didn't even think the timing was in their favor either. But here's what the man did. He just continuously assumed it. And this is what the guy talked about. He goes, due to some unusual conditions involved in the transaction, the son's family could not even make a bid for the property. They thought the man was joking. However, this was not the case. The man explained that he had watched them for some time, admired their ability, believed in their integrity, and that supplying the capital for them to go into business on a large scale was an extremely sound investment for him. That very day, the property was theirs. What the son had persisted in seeing in his imagination was now a reality. And in the paragraph below, essentially, he gave the blueprint, and he said, by assuming the feeling that he already had what he desired, by making this a vivid reality in his imagination, by determined persistence, regardless of appearance or circumstance, he inevitably caused his dream to become a reality. And man, just imagine the amount of faith that it took to just continuously walk by it and imagine it with a lack of doubt.
Hey, son, can I chime in really quick?
Yeah.
Do you know, does anybody know the story of Michael Todd and how he obtained his church that he has now in the
Yes,
building, in the
yes,
building that he has
yes.
similar,
It's
similar.
very similar. You have no idea. No,
Mhm.
like not you, mom. I was saying
No,
we have no idea like how powerful this stuff is because it's actually biblical and like the law of assumption. Imagine the paralytic, right? The guy that Jesus healed so that he picked up his mat after being dropped down from the roof and walked out, not having walked an entire day of his life. That level of belief came from him having to have faith in what Jesus had said and him having his sins healed and forgiven. And then he had to obey in the belief that I can get up and walk, even though he had never got up and walked. Manifestation, all this stuff is God given because God allowed us to have the highest faculty of imagination. There's a reason why we can see things without seeing it. There's a reason why we can hear his voice if we actually seek it out, and why all these principles actually work. And honestly, it just gave me a, as I stay into my daily readings in the Bible, it just gave me even more hope. That despite my current circumstances, I just have to continuously deny what my senses are telling me in evidence and fully believe in my assumption. And I think one thing that I'm going to take away from this and implementing more is from the first story where the guy imagined his encounter right before he went to bed. So I don't do this before I go to bed. I need to do it more often. I usually meditate and I'll imagine it in the morning. You know what I'm saying? But he said that most important in the successful use of this law is the actual point of falling asleep. His consciousness be filled with the assumption that he already is what he wanted to be. His objective experience continued to be directly opposite. My jaw, that hurt. Directly opposite to his subjective experience and consciousness each night. So what he was seeing, what he was facing was completely opposite than what he was believing in, but he was doing it at the most opportune time right before he went to bed. And scientifically, I know that to be true. I've heard it from everybody and their mama on stages, from multiple successful people in podcasts about doing this before sleep. And I don't know why it took me like reading it to be like, I need to do this more often. Last 5 minutes of your day right before you go to bed are so important. Yes, sir. I know there are people that fall asleep with audios on so that their brain absorbs even more information because it's like this in between. Your brain goes into this in between state of consciousness and unconsciousness, and your subconscious mind is essentially open to the most influence. So, yeah, I took a lot from these 3 chapters. I know it was the shortest section that we've read collectively, and honestly was the most impactful because for a large amount of the book, I felt like I was recapping things that I've been told and being reminded of where they're at in respect to the Bible. And I feel like God, I asked and he gave me an opportunity to seek and find the information. It's crazy. So I thank him for his grace. I thank him for the ultimate sacrifice that he made in allowing us to be free through his will, not ours. And I'm just grateful because y'all, tomorrow he is risen and it is done. And in the process, we can literally have
and
amen, amen. In the process, we can literally have anything that we want because we're operating in the laws that he's given us, So I appreciate you guys for honestly reading the book with us and diving into it because I really do feel like we're about to step into a whole new season. Like it's wild. I don't know how many times I've heard this thing. Dang, is that your car? Whose car is
Damn,
that?
is that yours, Don?
That's my cousin's, bro. Last night, someone drove through here, smacked her car. Their tire fell off over there, and they drove on 3 wheels around town.
Dang.
Crazy. But they mess with the wrong people because my uncle's in the fire department. My mom, my aunt, her mom is a officer. So like they found the car in a parking lot, like quick.
Sheesh. Yeah. Whoa. But no, yeah,
But good thing it was just parked. Nobody was in there.
yeah, for real. But grateful, thankful, and I'm excited for like the application of this stuff as we move forward because it's real life powerful, man. And I just gave more clarity as I applied because like having or attempting to apply the stuff without fully like reading and having directions for it, it's helped me. You know what I'm saying? I've changed my whole life and I'm grateful for it because I'm positioned for the promise. And now that I'm positioned in the right space with the right people, I can apply more accurately. And I'm just excited, y'all. The rest of the year is gonna be amazing. I can't wait to see what God's gonna do through all of us. Amber, I know you didn't read, girl, but anything you want to touch on about anything that was said, you got the floor. Before we close out. Boo boo boo. Calling Amber Tejas. Going once, going twice, sold. All right, I guess you don't talk. All good. But all right, y'all. We're gonna wrap the book next week. I'm excited. Last 3 chapters. If you have the copy, there's a whole nother book on the back end of it. I suggest you read it because it's a good read, but up to you. I think the book is called Imagination, Awakened Imagination. So super powerful. The next book we're reading, let me just make sure I know exactly what it is. Yee!
Bro, I don't know. I don't know if you just flipped to the back of the book to find the title, but I love you, but it's on the front.
No, it's not. Oh, it
Yeah, it
is.
is.
Ah, how about me, Austin? Hold on. Okay, the next book we're reading. Boop, 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 boop. All right, Start With Why by Simon Sinek. It's actually a really powerful one, and it's how great leaders inspire everyone to take action.
Start with what?
Start with why.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll make sure. I think it's already in the updated library. And I think this will be powerful because we're all stepping into another level of leadership as we go help more people understand what to find, what to learn, how to apply, and get into the rooms and getting in the right spaces. So, yeah, we're gonna finish up the book next week, and then the following week we'll be starting this book. I'll make sure the chapters and stuff get up to date. Mom's over there prepping the 7-layer dip. I'm excited. Hopefully, I can eat. Let's see. But
The girls wanted me to make one for the house. I'm like, girls, I'm not gonna do that. Y'all gonna have all that stuff over there. You're gonna be able to eat, son. I promise.
I bet.
Even if I have to like
Put a
saga.
plate off to the side. Y'all, her 7-layer dip, fire and desire. You don't even know. It goes crazy. Okay, but does anybody have any last remarks before we close this thing out? Wrap it up. Boo boo boo. All right, then. Well, I hope you have a blessed Saturday.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everybody. Enjoy time with the familia,
Yes.
manana, and in church. I know that high key, we are going to be going to probably the 9-1, but we're going to go early so that we can go and grab a seat. So
At 9:45 though, right? That's when it starts.
that's when it starts. So we probably
Okay.
get there like 9:15.
That's what I was saying. That's what I told Matt. So
Okay. Yeah. So if anybody wants to come with, please just shoot a text so that we can keep a seat safe for you. But I promise you, if you're not there by like
30.
9:30, it's gonna be packed, bro.
Yeah.
The stuff's been packed like every week on a normal basis. So they have 4 services now, but you know how everybody comes to church on Easter. So if you want to come, shoot us a text. Plan to be there by 9:15. They got coffee there. We can vibe out, chill.
I'm on my way.
On my way. My God.
I can't wait, Austin.
That'd be lit though, bro. That's the one thing,
Would
bro. If superpowers were real, I mean, superpowers are real. Imagination's a superpower. But if superpowers were really real, talking about like the where you can decide, bro, I would teleport all day and tomorrow, anywhere on the planet.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Boop.
Boop,
Time,
boop.
efficiency.
Bro, literally, dude. I remember like being in college. Like, bro, I'd wake up at 7:40 to get to my class at 8 o'clock, being over an hour away from where I need to be. Just boop, change, brush my teeth in class. Let's go. It'd be lit. I'm not gonna lie. But, anyways, love you guys. I hope you have a good rest of y'all's day. We'll see you soon.
Love y'all. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.